Well, it's another lovely morning. I'm only intending on going through the Buckby Flight of locks today. I'm just a little way down from the bottom lock. Once I've got to the top, I'll just cruise along and find somewhere to moor up. So again, I'm not rushed, and I'm looking forward to it. The boat ahead is going to turn into the marina. I did have a word with them to see if we could share the locks. You can see straight ahead the first lock. The lock ahead is being emptied, which is good. So it should be set for me to go straight in. Morning. I'm coming back so I can shut the lock gates. Although the lock is empty, it has been topped up a little by leakage through the far gates, so I'm just levelling it off so I can open the gate and then take the boat in. I am filling the lock using one ground paddle only. Once the water level has reached the top of the sill, I will open the gate paddle. I'm just mooring up so I can go back and shut the lock gate. I've just noticed the gate is open. Hadn't realised that before. Well, I've done 3 out of 7 locks. It is different going up to going down. I'll explain more later when I'm more up for the day. It's been quite interesting seeing the differences. I'm not going to film going through all the locks, as I did some comprehensive filming when I came down. So I'm going to carry on now and catch up with you a bit later. Well, that was a stroke of luck. There's a boat coming up behind me. I've just spoken to the chap on the boat. He's with his daughter, and we're going to share the locks from now on, which will be very helpful. I'm just going up to the next lock to get it prepared so he can join me in it. First lock that I'm sharing with this other boat. Thanks. See you in a minute. Well, that's the first lock we've done together. I'm going forward to prepare the next lock while they finish off here. Having prepared this lock, the other boat passed me, so it appears as though I'm going straight in without stopping. Thanks. See you in a minute. Well, it's all going very well. It's good to have help. It does make things a lot easier, although I do enjoy doing it myself. As I said earlier, I have found it very different coming up than to going down. So the help is much appreciated. I've done a few by myself. Well, the boat I paired up with has decided to moor up for lunch, so they're not going to come through the next lock with me. As I speak, there is a boat coming towards me. Better take some care. I've got a boat on my right hand side as well that is moored up. We're both in luck, I think, so the lock up there will be in my favour, will it?
It's just gone up.
Oh, have they? Oh. I don't know if you heard that. He said another boat has just gone up, so the lock won't be in my favour. Some lovely canal side cottages along here. The lock is just under that bridge coming up. I'm just about to enter the last lock for today, so I would have completed the 7 locks of the Buckby Flight. I just moored up briefly to close the lock gate. I'm now heading towards Norton Junction, which is a short distance ahead of me. I'm going to turn right at the junction, then I'm going to be looking for somewhere to moor up. Well, I've done the 7 locks now. I've made my turn at Norton Junction. I'm back on the Leicester arm of the Grand Union Canal. Well, I'm now looking to moor up for the day. Quite an early finish for me compared with the last 2 days, but I'm looking forward to it. A bit of relaxation time. Tomorrow I'll be going through the Watford Locks with the help of the volunteer lock keepers. So that task should be a little bit easier. But again, I've had a lovely day today. Couldn't really ask for more. I've been so lucky. I picked the time to come on this little cruise. Absolutely right. I think I might moor up here actually, opposite the marina. Well, I've moored up. It's time for another late lunch. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll speak to you a little bit later about my experience of dealing with locks solo going in an upwards direction. I did say I would try and explain the difference between going down in a lock and coming up in a lock. On my way through down to Norton Junction, I was going down through the locks, and I found that easier than coming up the locks. I think it's easier because once you've set the lock to go in, you're at a high level, so you take your boat in and you're level with the lock side. You then empty the lock and your boat goes down. I then find that you can get onto your boat fairly easily from the lock ladder. The locks have 2 ladders in them, one on either side. The position of the ladder can vary from lock to lock, but it's roughly in the centre third of the lock, towards one end or the other. So once your boat is in the lock and it's gone down, you can actually, using your centre rope, pull the boat forward or back so that your deck lines up with the ladder. And that is what I was doing when I was going down through the locks. The other way of doing it is to obviously jump onto your roof, which is another way. But I was trying to use the ladders. Whether that's wise or not, I don't actually know, because the ladders have been in water, they are wet and can be slippy. So swings and roundabouts. But from my point of view, I just felt that if I can step onto my deck, that would be a lot easier. So today I was coming up through the locks, which is quite different. When you arrive at a lock, you moor up and you go to the lock and you see whether it's full or empty. If it's full, you need to empty it. If it's empty, you may still need to open the paddle, because water does leak into the locks from the gates the other end. So you prepare the lock, you make sure it's empty, you open the gates. So now we're at the low level, and you steer your boat in, and the ladder isn't necessarily well positioned for where you want it, so you do take your chance a bit. But anyway, when I dealt with the first lock, which was bottom lock number 13 at Wilton, the boat went in fairly slowly. It didn't altogether stop, and I had my centre line in my left hand, and I started climbing up the ladder as the boat sort of walked past it, and that worked fine. But the way I was holding the rope, the boat was still moving, and it was sort of trying to pull it out of my hand, and I found it a little bit difficult. I did manage to hold on to the rope, but I realised that I would need to have some form of technique. So now I'm on lock side and the boat is down below, I can use my centre line and tie it round a bollard, which is what I did. You then carry on with the usual procedure of filling the lock, so the boat comes up, and then obviously you open the gates and you can cruise out. So in some respects, when you come up in the lock, it's easy to step back onto your deck and get going again. But then you come to the next lock and you've got to do the same thing over. You're going in at the lower level and you're not quite sure where the ladder is, and you need to climb up the ladder. And so the boat goes in, hopefully it comes to a stop right by the ladder where the deck is, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have got to get onto your roof and then walk along to where the ladder is situated. But it is slightly more tricky, I would say, going up than going down. I hope you've understood that very quick explanation, but it's been interesting for me. What I was doing after that first lock, I was holding the rope in a certain way in my left hand so that I could release lengths of it if the boat was still moving, rather than it tugging me away, which is what it tried to do on that first occasion. Hope that all makes sense. It will actually be interesting to see what other boat tubers think, or other boaters. It doesn't have to be a boat tuber. They might have other opinions, different views. As I say, I'm new to dealing with locks single-handed, particularly double locks, and I just found that going down was an easier process than coming up. So that's the view I have. If anyone knows anything different, please leave a comment in the comments. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.